Let's talk about how to time your property purchase and what are the 5 indicators of talking about when to invest in a property. The first factor is to take advantage of the seller's or buyer's market. What do I mean by this? How do we know whether are we in a seller's or buyer's market? Very importantly, these two cater to the interest rate FOMO that is happening in every different season. Now, when interest rates are low, for example, now interest rate is 1.45, this is a seller's market. Seller's market means sellers have the upper hand, buyers are a lot more. So the amount of buyers are more than the sellers because why? Buyers want to quickly buy and take advantage and lock in low interest rates. So you start to see showroom being flooded, all right? Now, when interest rates are high, for example, there was a time we were at 3.5% in the year 2023, 2022. This is a buyer's market. Means that buyers are less than the amount of sellers. So sellers are a bit more desperate, all right? Their viewings are lesser. Developers give a lot more discount. And developers are conservative, they don't dare to bid for land. Buyers take their time to shop. Now, in the year 2025 to 2027, we are in the seller's market. All right, so we call it the bull market. Now, if you're in the bull market, you need to take advantage of this first framework, which is if you are shifting to a bigger property, always shift ASAP because the bigger property is going to increase in price faster than your smaller property. If I'm switching from 1,000 square feet to a 3,000 square feet property, just by simple mathematic calculation, $100 PSF increase, this will increase by 100K, this will increase by 300K. By the time I want to sell this, to wait for my buyer to absorb my property at 100K more, let's say I say that I want to achieve a certain price target, my future property has already moved on by 300,000. So importantly, in a fast-paced market, if you want to shift to a bigger property, shift when you can. Now, principle number 2, if you are retiring, you are downsizing, and this is a bull market, please hold your horses and do not sell. If I'm downsizing from a landed to a condo or a HDB, a small property, I must wait for the bull run to almost complete at least 75%. So for example, now is the start of the bull run. Maybe I should wait until the end of 2026, then I sell because I want to sell at the peak and then I will pay off the smaller property because my property is going to appreciate faster than my target property. So that's principle number 2. Now let's look at principle number 3 is to note the current developer's appetite. So always note that developers have different appetite in different seasons. Now, if you look at this 5-year cycle chart, let's plot in the chart over here that I've recently spoken at this private event at W Residences. Now, this 5-year cycle chart in the red color bar, it talks about the amount of properties that developers have to hand over their TOP condos. All right, so they're going to hand over the amount of properties to their future buyers, to the buyers that have already bought 3 years ago during their launch. Now, if the amount of properties that they hand over is a lot, it means that they need to replenish their land bank. Now, when they replenish their land bank, they usually will bid and they are very aggressive. And this is the onstart of a shift in their bidding price. So I want to observe when are they bidding hungrily? Because if I know that in a certain year, they're going to bid very hungrily, and they're going to jack up the GLS land price, I want to buy before that, all right? So the amount of forecast over here, you can look at this 5-year cycle chart. If there's the year that they're going to hand over a lot and they're going to bid very hungrily, I want to buy before that. I want to buy some of the balanced launches, all right? Let's go on to the 5th point. Now, 5th point, timing your purchase is sometimes about timing your own age, all right? There's also this risk factor based on your own investing cycle. Sometimes people say that the best time to invest is always now, which is true. Why? Because you only have one life. Your age, you cannot buy back. Age is the only thing we cannot buy back. So our time is more expensive than timing the market. Take note, time is more expensive than timing the market. So your time is more expensive because you cannot buy back time. And the best time to invest is always now. Why? Because of this concept called TLC. How much tenure can you go for based on your age? What is your leveraging power based on your current age and income combined? What is your capability in terms of your earning power? Because your earning power based on your TDSR affects your leveraging power and is affected by your tenure. So these two coincide to your leverage power. If your leverage power is weak, the amount of choices that you can go for in the market, even if you spot a good deal, you cannot get a loan for it, you cannot have the down payment for it, and you might miss out on that opportunity. So TLC is the fourth point that is very important. And of course, the fifth point is to note that timing the market sometimes is a factor of hunting for opportunities in the entire zone. There's always opportunities everywhere. So what we need to do is we need to remove our biasness. Sorry, this looks like a bun, but this is actually the Singapore island map. So north, northeast, east, central area, city fringe area, west, of course you have the zone of northwest area, but importantly, everywhere has opportunities. But the most important thing is to ensure that we remove our bias from where you were born in. Because some people were born in the east, they don't like the west, but there are people in the west, condos that made $1 million, all right, over the last few years. So you need to make sure that in the investing approach, we remove ourselves from the picture, we think about what a future buyer would think, and we hunt for properties that has opportunities right now in this season. There you go, the 5 points.